Hey Optimist, in today's video, we are going to be taking a look at functions in JavaScript. Alright, if you are following along from previous videos, let's turn on auto run. First, let's define a function. A function is a piece of reusable code. Now, let's answer the question, why do you need to use functions? I think the answer to that is in the definition, because functions let you write reusable code. Imagine you need to write a code to add numbers every time. Instead, you could just write a code to add numbers in a function and then call it again and again, which we are going to be taking a look at in this video. Alright, first let's take a look at the function syntax. You need to write the keyword function and then you need to name your function name, and then you need to put a parenthesis, and then inside curly brackets you need to write your code. Alright, first let's write a basic function that just prints something to the console. Let's clear this out. Let's write function print console.log the optimist. Alright, we wrote our first function, but why is nothing displayed on the output screen? That brings us to the concept of calling the function. When you declare a function, the function gets executed only if it's called. Calling a function is simple as writing the function name and then putting the parenthesis, and you get the optimist. Alright, this is a basic function. What if you need to pass an input to a function and then work on it? So let's consider our first example, adding of numbers using a function. You need to pass in the numbers to add it, right? So let's take a look at the syntax of how do you pass values to a function. Alright, let's clear this out. Let's go back to our function syntax. So you need to give a name to the values that are passed into the function. Those are known as parameters. Alright, you need to declare your parameters over here, and the values that are passed into the function should be passed in the function call. That is, when you write your function name and then call it, you need to pass in your values which are known as arguments. The values which are passed into the function are called as arguments, and the values that are defined in the function are known as parameters. The names might be tough to wrap around your head if you're a beginner, but you'll get used to it as you go on. Alright, let's look at an example. Let's write a function that adds two numbers. Let's clear this out. Let's just say function add num. Let's write our parameters num1 comma num2, and then let's just console.log num1 plus num2, and let's call this function using 1 comma 2, and we get 3. When we call this function, the value gets printed to the console. What if we want to store this value in a variable? That brings us to a concept of return statement. That is, we can pass in an input to a function, we can perform some actions on it, and then return the output which can be stored in a variable. Alright, let's look at an example for it. It is as simple as removing this, and then let's just say return num1 plus num2, and we can store this value in a variable. Let's just say var num equals 2, and let's just console.log it, console.log num, and we see 3 over here. Alright, that is the basics of functions in JavaScript. Hope you understand the concept. In the next video, we are going to be talking about arrow functions in JavaScript, which were introduced in ES6. So make sure to check that out. Good luck.